Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and our year to shine. This is another guidepost from Brene Brown's book, The Gifts of Imperfection tonight. It's guidepost number 7, Cultivating Play and Rest. I could have done this one on my vacation, I guess, too. So in order to cultivate this particular guidepost, we need to let go of exhaustion as a status symbol and productivity as self-worth. Remember we talked about perfectionism and how it's like if you're striving to be the best, then you are, and you're making your identity about that performance, then it is wrapped up with your self-worth. So that is a similar one to this. And of course we talked about creativity last time too. That could be a bit of your play. What do you think play is? When you think about play, I think about kids running around on the playground, just like a free flow of fun. Definitely think of fun with play, right? So Brene talks about how she came to be aware of this one. She's doing her research and really diving into what makes the wholehearted life so different than the way the average person's living. And she noticed that the people that she was talking to that had these lives that she really wanted to know more about, they were busy, but busy in fun ways. They just had a lot of things going on. They were meeting up with people for lunch or going for a walk to pick daisies, or just fun things. And she thought, all of us struggle, the ones that are just in this rat race, we just struggle with allowing ourselves to have that playtime. I mean, even me, it's like I was on vacation, so I was allowed to just chill out and sit on the couch and read and sleep in. I guess I'm all right. I do have my Sunday Sabbath that I have every week, but that's only one day a week. So she's talking about people that are making play a big part of their lives. And I can understand that, because I think if you first of all have time to make play a predominant part of your life, then you probably are just happier in general, because you may not even have as many demands on you. So I don't know, I suppose it's like, how they say money won't buy happiness, but then in some cases you might have money and it allows you to do a lot of things that would make you happy. So in this case with the play, like playing more would make you happy, but you might not have the time to do the play. But anyway, it is about making it a priority. And just like with the creativity, maybe it's scheduling in some play if you really have to be structured like that. I have my schedule, so I like to have a schedule. I think it's probably first identifying what you would consider to be play. I was watching a movie this week, Searching for Bobby Fischer, and it was about chess, and I've also watched The Queen's Gambit in the last couple months too, so I don't know much about chess. I tried to play it at one point, and I think it's more of a mind game than necessarily fun, like other board games that I like. But anyway, it was making me think about how I love to play games, and I haven't been playing. I did Words with Friends with someone virtually maybe a month ago. But since we're not having game nights and things like that, I'm definitely missing that. So that would be something I would think is fun and play. Of course, spending time with friends. So a lot of these things are things that, since we've had COVID, it's been different. But there are ways that you can virtually connect with people and still have some play. And then there's plenty of individual opportunities. We've had nice weather where I live recently, and I went for a walk on the water, and so yeah, it's things like that are unstructured. So even if you have to schedule it, if you need that part of a structure to make sure that you do it, once you're playing, you're not supposed to really have any sort of purpose. Because when kids are playing on the playground, well, they might be playing a certain game or something, but in most cases, they're just playing to play because it's fun. So we've sort of lost that as adults, I think. So if you're like me, she says, then you might be thinking, what is play? And so she mentions a book, Dr. Stuart Brown. So her last name's Brown, but this is nobody of relation. So she says, Brown proposes 7 properties of play. The first of which is that play is apparently purposeless, like I just said. Basically, this means that we play for the sake of play. We do it because it's fun and we want to. So that could be sports for somebody, could be music for someone else. Yeah, could be chess for other people. It sure looks like people are really into it, but they get super intense in those movies. So as far as her shame research coming in, remember I said when our self-worth is tied to things like how hard we're working or our net worth, and we base our worthiness on that level of productivity, spending time doing purposeless activities is rare. In fact, many of us, it sounds like an anxiety attack waiting to happen. Do you think you're that hard on yourself that you don't let yourself play at all? Or we have to think about, and I know there is a whole other chapter on one of the guideposts about just sort of like, again, letting go of what people think, but you have to be sort of goofy if you're going to play in some respects, because one of the other ones is about dance and things like that. And yeah, you have to just sort of be wacky and let go. And maybe, again, it's doing it behind closed doors if you're not comfortable doing it with other people or out in public. We've got so much to do and so little time, Brene says, and the idea of spending time doing anything unrelated to the to-do list actually creates stress. Like she said, it can be anxiety inducing. We even convince ourselves that sleep is terrible. Do you think that's true? I don't think I have a negative feeling about sleep, but when she said letting go of stress as a lifestyle, I definitely relate to that. I think I've told you sometimes I'm overscheduled. I'm just really struggling with anxiety at this job that I have, because it's like a constant gerbil wheel of just never feeling like you're ever going to get caught up. I always have jobs like that. I don't know why. Maybe I thrive on it. Maybe it is my lifestyle, but I do feel like I'm pretty good once I'm out of that environment and I come home and, like I'll sit on my chair with Annabelle and it'll just go away for a while until it starts up again on the next day. So at least I'm not bringing it home with me, so that's good. Yeah, so Dr. Brown, not her, but this other Dr. Brown, argues that play is not an option. In fact, he writes that the opposite of play is not work. The opposite of play is depression. He explains, respecting our biologically programmed need for play can transform work. It can bring back excitement and newness to our job. Play helps us deal with difficulties, provides a sense of expansiveness, promotes mastery of our craft, and is an essential part of the creative process. Most importantly, true play that comes from our own inner needs and desires is the only path to finding lasting joy and satisfaction in our work. In the long run, work does not work without play. That's interesting. Made me think about how I just mentioned that I liked games. I was almost thinking about like having a bingo card, and every time something happens, like I get a phone call or something, get that bingo space. Make a game out of it. I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to think about how I wouldn't do that, but I'm trying to think of how I could bring some more play into my work. Maybe it would be something in my workspace. I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, these are some of the things that she says that a lot of us hard workers will say. Napping is for slackers. Push through, you can handle it. One more hour of work, you can catch up on your sleep this weekend. That reminds me of in the movie Eat, Pray, Love, where one of the characters in Italy says that Americans have things so twisted because you know how their countries, they have siesta and they have times where it's like everybody goes home for lunch and they just hang out with their families, and Americans are just so work driven. And he said something like, you work so hard all week and then you just spend your entire weekend in your pajamas. And the main character said, that is kind of true. So just like I said, on Sundays sometimes I stay in my pajamas. I kind of need that, but that's probably just because I'm not giving myself the play and the rest of the time. I should have more of a balance. I did, how what book were we reading that said go to bed at 9 o'clock, I think once a week, right? So on Thursday nights when I come home, I've been trying to, like, even if I don't go right to sleep, I've just been making sure, like, I don't watch TV, I don't do anything on my chair or whatever. I just get in under the covers and maybe just read and just have some quiet time, and then try to go to bed early if I can. And usually by Thursday I'm so tired that it hasn't been difficult. But we're a nation of exhausted and overstressed adults raising overscheduled children too. Yeah, she talks about that. And she shares how in her family they sat down and they wrote down, what did she call it? Ingredients for joy and meaning. So they made a list, she and her husband mainly, of the things that made their family really work well. And she says that a lot of times they were always really so money focused that they were working extra hard just to try to have the money because they eventually wanted to get a bigger house or they wanted to go on vacation or things like that. But when they really sat down and made this list of joy and meaning, what they realized was that when their family was working really well, of course it wasn't about the money, it was more about having the quality time together and time to have conversations. And maybe they weren't going on a dream vacation, but maybe they went away for a weekend close by, or they just did things together. And so she ended up having to make some decisions and told her daughter that they were going to be giving her a choice, basically, one sport, not 5 sports, and you have to decide, I don't remember what it was, like between band and chess club. I don't know, chess is on my mind now. I forget what they were, but the daughter was just sort of like, well, I already do less than other people, and Brene makes the point, there are kids that have something every single day, and then they're trying to do homework, and there's no downtime. And then think about the parents, like driving them everywhere and keeping the schedules together and stuff. So the daughter had sort of a negative reaction to it at first, but then later, after they really evaluated how it went, then they did feel like they were getting more things on this joy and meaning list. So I think it would be great to sit down and make a list for yourself like that. Like, what are the things, when are the times that you're happiest? We had that questionnaire from Christine Arlo's book last month. So things that make you laugh, things that you always smile about, things like that. And then see if there's a way that you can somehow bring those in more and reprioritize. Maybe you are very money focused and you're like, I'm working on paying off some remaining debt and I'm very motivated by that. But what if it takes me 6 months to a year longer to pay it off, but I ended up having more of a quality of life along the way? Instead of working, like last fall when I was working every single day. That was more out of obligation just because I didn't want to leave one of the jobs hanging during Christmas and everything. But maybe I was sacrificing my own joy and meaning by doing that. It was definitely insane. I'm glad it's over. So also, I'm talking really more about play, but there is more about rest in here as well, because getting enough sleep is so important. And maybe you don't even know how much you really need. Maybe you need to start keeping track. And I know I need to be better about going to bed early. I think it's the child in me that I was the youngest and everybody else got to stay up, and so I don't know, I just never wanted to go to bed. And then even now I'm tired, but I almost like stay up until I'm just weary and I can't keep my eyes open. I don't know why I do it. I really feel like if I could go to bed at 11, but I'm not always tired at 11. I don't know. Why do I have to get all the way to Exhaustion like on Thursday and then go to bed at 9? Like, I don't know. It's something I need to balance out better. So I need both of the things in this guidepost. And then as far as what we're getting rid of, that exhaustion as a status symbol or stress as a status symbol, and then productivity as self-worth. I think I struggle with that, both of those things. I don't mean for the exhaustion and the stress to be a lifestyle, but it is sort of consuming. And then the productivity, I said I do get a lot of satisfaction out of feeling like I'm working hard at whatever I'm doing. But I also notice that, and tonight's a perfect example, and I've done this way too many times, but I stay late at work and I shouldn't. And I have to report my hours, but you know, tonight I was thinking, oh, I'll just say I left at 5, because I also don't want anybody to think that I'm not being productive and that I'm just trying to add on hours. But the truth is there's that much work, so I am staying late. I probably should just report it accurately, because if they think that I can do it in less amount of time, then I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, that's personal, but I do feel like I always have such a sense of productivity and wanting to do a good job and wanting to set the day up for a better start for myself, because if I leave things hanging, then it just carries over and then the next day is worse. But I also thought tonight when I got home and it was late, and I thought, well, what else am I going to be able to do? And that's pretty sad, because if I had creativity and play scheduled into my life more, then I would be like, I have to leave. I can't, I'm doing this. I already have plans tonight. So I need to be better about wanting to leave because I have something fun to look forward to. Anyway, there's lots we could say. Let me just see if there's anything else. She mentions a book here, and is it the same Dr. Brown that she mentioned? It's called A Whole New Mind. If you want to learn more about the importance of play and rest, then read that book. One of the best things that we've ever done in our family is making that ingredients of joy and meaning list that I mentioned. And I encourage you to sit down and make a list of the specific conditions that are in place when everything feels good in your life, and then check that list against your to-do list and your to-accomplish list, and it might surprise you. Good luck with that. I'll be back with you. We're almost to the 10th one. Next one is the 8th one. It's cultivating calm and stillness. That'll be for next time. I will talk to you then. Annabelle says hello. Thanks for being here, and say hello if you can, because I love hearing from you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Love to you all. Bye-bye.